President Obama here tries taking credit for Donald Trump's strong economy, which is totally ridiculous, as I'll explain after this clip.
And the reason some people think, well, I don't know, I remember that economy when he first came in being pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good, because it was my economy. We had had 75 straight months of job growth that I handed over to him. It wasn't something he did. I had spent 8 years cleaning up the mess that the Republicans had left me the last time. So just in case everybody has a hazy memory, he didn't do nothing except those big tax cuts.
So the one thing he says there that is true, he did have to clean up a mess, but dude, 8 years. You cannot keep saying that, oh, the mess was made. I had needed 8 years to clean it up. That's totally unrealistic. That's kind of what happens in Canada with Justin Trudeau right now, and just in other speeches, is he goes back to, oh, I was elected in 2015. I had this big mess to clean up, or whatever he says, but it's just not true. And the reason it's not true is when I was in a class in school around 2014, 2015, the major theme, and this is when Barack Obama was president, was secular stagnation, which basically means, according to Wikipedia here, in economics, secular stagnation is a condition where there is negligible or no economic growth in a market-based economy. In this context, the term secular means long-term and is used in contrast to cyclical or short-term. It suggests a chain of fundamental dynamics which will play out only in its own time. So basically, hopelessness. Secular stagnation essentially means things are bad and they're going to stay bad and we're just going to have no growth for a long time. That's not a great economy, and that was the sentiment in all my finance classes and just in lectures. If you ever turned on CNBC, if somebody was optimistic about the American economy or the prospects for the future, they would get laughed at. It was everybody basically had a consensus that even with low interest rates, zero interest rate policy, with basically maximal stimulus, quantitative easing, things still were not growing. Obama had such an advantage of having zero interest rates the entire term, which again probably were needed at the very beginning in 08 and 09. But then he had this massive stimulus and there was still no growth in the economy. It was just there was just so much doom and gloom. People, as an example, were doing this thing called a carry trade, where they were buying a bank just for the dividend because the dividend yield was going to return more than the bond would. A bond with a 2% interest rate, if they could buy the stock of a dividend with a dividend of 4%, they were doing that instead. And they just were not expecting much growth in the actual equity of the company. So it was an incredible moment. It's totally not true. Look at all these videos from around that time period. Secular stagnation, secular stagnation, secular stagnation. Stagnation is here to stay. Secular stagnation, secular stagnation, secular stagnation. This was just the common theme that basically things were not growing. They were flat and they were going to remain flat. And Byron Donalds, who lately has done a great job in the media, was actually asked about Obama's trying to take credit for the Trump economy on CNN here. Let's see what he says.
Finance during Barack Obama's administration. Let me tell you, the economy under his especially the last 5 years, was growing at about 1 to 1.5% per year. I think at the time, President Obama was saying that, this era of large economic growth is something of the past. We're going to have a more consistent economy. Well, in his words, a consistent economy meant one that barely grew. So when Donald Trump came in, he brought his tax cut policy in, which cut taxes across the board for everybody in our country. Couple the fact that he did cut massive regulations from the Obama administration. And what did we see? Economic growth in the United States went from 1.5% under Barack Obama to 3.5% under Donald Trump. Wages adjusted for inflation, like I said, because it's the truth, increased for every subgroup of Americans in our country. The wealth gap was closing. We were actually booming economically far more than we did under Barack Obama. So that's a cool statement he made on the stump, but it's not true.
So exactly, it is not true. And the idea that wages would be rising in the United States back in around 2013, 2014 when Obama was president, again, it was almost like a laughable statement. It was just seen as such a doom and gloom economy that was only doing really decent if you're at the rich people, because you got a little bit of a boost from all the stimulus, all the money printing. But the economy for the average person when Obama was in was just like pretty cold. And as Byron Donalds said, like a consistent economy, which is like a nice way of saying things aren't going to grow and you need growth. In the American economy, other Western economies, where you have so much debt that you're adding on, you need to grow in order to just be able to somewhat finance all the debt that you keep taking on. You can't deal with a consistent economy for too long, and you'll have such major problems. And I just think it's totally true what Byron Donalds is saying. And then you could almost say, and maybe this is not politically advantageous to a Trump supporter right now to say, I think Biden's economy is actually better than Barack Obama's economy. In different ways, there's pros and cons. Like in the Obama or the Biden economy, there's obviously a ton of inflation, and you have this, like with especially a lot of housing. Like a lot of young people have a major problem getting housing. So in that way, the Obama economy is better, but at least there's growth. Like there's still optimism in the American business community. Probably Biden has been bailed out to a sense by artificial intelligence and like the rise in optimism around the future of AI and what that can bring to, like if you look at the tech, the evaluations of a bunch of tech companies, they're very high. But I mean, I would probably say like in many ways, Obama's economy was actually worse than Biden's. Again, that may be not true. Like from an inflation standpoint, probably from someone even working a minimum wage job, I would not say. But I mean, I guess it's debatable as I'm kind of going through it. It's tough to say which one was worse, but I do believe for sure the Trump economy was better. And even Byron Donalds did say it. The wealth gap was finally starting to close. How come the Republicans now are the only party that cares about this? Democrats seem to be just the party of rich. Let's just grow it. Like the Biden economy right now is definitely good for rich people. The stock market's doing great, but the average person is not doing great. So I don't know. I think definitely Byron Donalds is correct here, and Obama is not correct. That the Trump economy, he cannot take that much credit, if any at all, for Trump's success. So with that said, I'll end the video here, but thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.